Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's key objective is to build reusable components in our CoreUI. So under components, we will create a new package for the network image as well as the carousel. I presume I have covered this particular composable network image in previous tutorial, but regardless, we're going to build this component from scratch. Create a composable network image. We don't need a preview for now. The image composable will be using coil3 and Ktor clients. I'm going to add here composable that's going to be shown whenever there is an error loading the image. Let's call it error composable or error component. Another one for loading the data of the image. A modifier for reusability purposes should be the first optional parameter. A content description for testability. An alignment for the image. A content scale alpha. So by default, let's do it default alpha, a filter or color filter, a placeholder for drawable resource, crossfade animation, transformations. Those are basically used within coil3 and error drawable. From the documentation of coil3, we need to create builder image loader. Let's create here a context and we have to wrap this in remember. Let's call here value image loader equal remember and image builder. And components, let's add here the HTTP client, which is Ktor Network Feature Factory. In arguments, HTTP client from Ktor. And here we will call build. Let's create the image request. Again, from the documentation, we have to do remember, and we have to provide the keys. First one is the data, placeholder drawable resource, a resource ID, crossfade, and transformation. Inside, we will do the image request and builder. We have to provide here again context. So for the data, it's going to be the data, the size. We can here add the size as a property of the composable, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will do here size original. For the scale as well, you can customize this if you will. Scale fit, add the placeholder, drawable, then let, because it's nullable, placeholder, let's import placeholder. Under the same scope, we will add error resource, and let's import crossfade, as well as transformations. At the bottom of apply, we can call here build. Now we can apply the remember async image painter. With the model, it's going to be image request, and image loader, we have already defined the image loader here. From the documentation, it will be remember async image painter. We have to provide the model. It is the request, the image loader already defined. From time to time, try to apply some format into the code. Next, we need to check across the different states of the painter. We can distinguish between the error and loading. Let's wrap everything in a box. Modifier, it will be modifier. Fill max size and content alignment. It will be alignment. Let's align everything at the center. Now let's check if the state is in error state. The other case, if the image state is async image painter dot state basically loading. And if it doesn't fall into those two categories, we will show the image. Let's add here the painter. The modifier will be modifier fill max size, content description, content scale, alignment, alpha, and color filter. I'm going to show here basically the error component and here loading component. We can use the modifier instead of the generic modifier. Can use our modifier here. So that's pretty much it for the network image. If you do remember previously in the Vue3 application, we have in our product detail screen a carousel showing basically the list of images. So this is the scope of this composable. Under the image package, add a new composable, call it network carousel. The network carousel is going to be just a simple wrapper for the composable from accompanist pager library. Let's provide here images, the list of URLs, a modifier for reusability purposes, and is autoplay. The carousel will automatically scroll from one image to another without the user interaction. And timeout, the shape of the entire composable or the carousel, network carousel, a content scale, and a test tag for testability purposes. From the documentation of accompanist, we need to create a pager state, the initial page, it's going to be 0, and the page count images.count. And we need a scope or a coroutine scope in order to toggle between or navigate between images. for animation. Now let's handle the autoplay, or automatically switching between or navigating between the images, launched effect, and the key or the dependency is autoplay. If is autoplay, we'll apply here indeterminate while loop. Let's add a delay for the timeout that we have defined before. Going to let the user observe for a while the images. Then after the delay, the pager will automatically switch to another image. To navigate to the next page, we will do pager state animate scroll to page, and we have to provide here the page. Basically, we have to check if we are not in the last page. In the carousel, we need to set the current page to 0. Otherwise, we're going to navigate to the next page. Pager state does current page +1. Let's wrap everything in a box. Let's apply here a modifier. Let's call the composable horizontal pager. We have to provide the state. The keys are basically the images. For the modifier, let's fill the max size, and we have to clip according to the shape that the user or the developer will use. And let's add a test tag to make our composable testable, and we can access here the index. As I said before, inside the horizontal pager, we would like to add the network image, the data, images, and index. Content scale is content scale. Modifier, fill the max width or the max size. Let's apply crossfade 1 second. The loading component, simply the circular progress indicator. And for the color, it will be the primary color. The error composable or the error component, simply it will be an image. We're going to show SVG file, R, and drawable. Let's import R from CoreUI, and all the credits go to SVG repo for some of the SVG files that I have used in this tutorial. Content description. I don't think that we're going to use the content description in this tutorial. Let's do required width 60 dp. That will do. Whenever we change the page, I'm going to load a new image from the index. Under the same box, we need to add the indicator or the navigation for the image. It will be a row. Let's align everything at the bottom center of the box. Let's provide some padding, and the horizontal alignment, let's make everything in the center. So we have already the amount of images that we will show. For each index, we will represent those dots by a box, basically a padding of 4 dp. The size of this 8 dp, for example. The background according to the current index. Basically, we are in the current page. In other words, it's the active image, pager state, and current page. The color, let's do, for example, color gray. Otherwise, let's do light gray. We will make the whole thing clickable. When we click on this box, we have to navigate to the next page. And images, index of images, element at, if you will, index. So this is basically our pager or our carousel. I think it's pretty straightforward. We are just using the pager from Accompanist, and we have provided an auto scroll, if you will. Now we have to implement one last component for this video, warning message. As a parameter, first parameter is the text that we want to show, a modifier for reusability, the icon that will be shown in the warning message. And for testability purposes, let's add here content description. We place the icon and the text in a horizontal sequence. We will add here an icon and the text that will be shown. Nothing substantial. I think that's gonna conclude this video. For the next video, we will build the snack bar, the model, and the theme switch. I hope you liked the video. See you in the next one, and happy coding.